Okay, so our fifth topic here, we're going to talk about the additional 300 is actually 600. Now, in case you guys are wondering what I mean by that, with the stimulus package that was signed by Trump, the one that was small but hopefully will increase very soon, thanks to I will admit probably one of the only, if not few, only positives that we're getting out of this change of the guard. Um, when it comes to Congress and the House and all that, hopefully the sudden, the additional increase, like the additional 1,400 or an extra 2,000 down the line, when it comes to the stimulus packages. But as I was saying, in case you guys don't know, and I'm sure you do by now, the additional, what I'm talking about when it comes to saying the additional 300 is actually 600 has to do with the additional 300 that we're getting with unemployment. Now, for a lot of us in different various parts of the United States that are going through this, that have already gotten this or will be getting this, you might be asking yourself, well, how can it be six? How can that three be six, right? Well, basically it's because it all depends on how your state's EDD, your state's unemployment services structure their the payments to those that receive unemployment because they're not working right now or they're only working very little and they need that extra cash on the side. And to me, when I looked at the report saying this was 300 a week, I'm thinking, oh, originally my thought was, oh, we're going to get 300 each week, right? So I thought, honestly, I would look on my phone, check my app for my EDD, with my for the bank that my EDD is tied to, and I didn't see no increase. I didn't see no deposit, I should say. I didn't see no deposit, which made me realize, oh, this probably means it's 300 for this week and it's 300. Oh, it's 300 for last week, it's 300 for this week, and thus it's a combined 600 on top of what I would get normally every 2 weeks. And the same goes, in my opinion, for a lot of other people out there, not just here in California, but in the rest of the country. So depending on what you make bi-weekly because of unemployment, or what you get bi-weekly because of unemployment, you could add an additional 600 to that. Now, obviously the question is, why didn't they just straight up say that's what it's going to be? Knowing that that's mostly how, or that's how, what I'm trying to say is, knowing that that's how most EDD offices and state governments work. Like it's not every week, but it's every 2 weeks. Why didn't they just say, oh, it's in total going to be 600, not three? Because there's going to be a lot of us, like myself, that will be confused by that, thinking, oh, we're going to have an additional 300 deposited every week. No, that 300 is going to be totaled together as 6 to be added to what you currently get. So let's say, for example, you get 530 every 2 weeks, depending on your situation. This additional 600 will make it 1130, 1130. That's what it will make it. So that's pretty good. Or let's say you make 200, which is probably one of the least amounts you can make depending on your job situation or whatever. You add this 600, you get an 8. So that's pretty much how it is. Now, like I said, like I asked, and I'm sure everybody else will ask this, why didn't they just straight up say it's going to be 6, knowing how things are structured with the EDD, depending on the state you live in, is anybody's guess. I mean, again, saying it's going to be 300 a week, it's confusing because a lot of people would expect, oh, we're going to get a deposit every week, not realizing that, oh, it's for every other week. In other words, taking that 300 for each week and totaling it together. Now, could I be wrong about this? Absolutely, I could be wrong about this. And it could just be 300 in addition to what you normally get. But the one thing a lot of people said, because of the fact that Trump stalled on signing that stimulus, when he did, the fact that we could have had that additional 300 added in changed everything for the time being. But now that everything is kind of like up to speed, up to date, things should be back on track. Things should be getting back on course. But again, the question is, why didn't they just come out and say it was going to be 600 in total, depending on the structure or depending on how your state's EDD structures the payments to you. That's what I would like to know. That's what I would want an answer to. But anyway, though, for anybody that is still confused, hopefully this fifth topic here on Topics on My Mind kind of helps you out and makes you understand that what's going on here basically is more along the lines of, yeah, you're getting the 300 a week as promised, but it's being totaled to 6. Now, depending on your living situation, your marital situation and parenting situation, you're going to get more. So instead of 3, you're going to get 6, and that 6 is going to equal up to 1,200. So hopefully, again, down the line, as time goes on and we slowly, if not very quickly, get out of this pandemic situation, they'll make it more. They'll basically straighten out all the, they'll straighten out all the confusion, and they'll make it clear that, oh, by the way, you are going to get 300 a week, but it mainly depends on how your EDD pays out to you, whether they do it weekly or bi-weekly. So yeah, basically, long story short, the 300 is actually 600 in total. And that's pretty good in my opinion. And in a sense, and I might get some flack for this. In a sense, it does kind of make sense of what McConnell was, as to why McConnell was, or Mitch McConnell, I should say, was blocking the $2,000 stimulus when he was doing it. Because of the fact that he was looking at the fact that, oh, people are going to get that 600, and those that get the EDD along with it are going to make up for more than enough of that. And basically, to him, the 300 that we would get, which would combine to 6, in addition to that other 6 we get to the stimulus, which is 12, combined to what we'd get, would make up almost to 2,000 anyway. So in a way, it does kind of make sense as to why he was blocking it, because pretty much he totaled exactly, probably in his mind, and those working with him that were in agreement with him were probably like, if you pass that, it's going to be more than what they're getting, and what they're getting right now along with the 300, depending on what they get from the EDD, would basically equal up to what, the Democrats and even Trump want to pass. So, yeah. It kind of makes sense in a way as to why you wanted to block it. But still, it's like, thankfully, again, one of the positives coming out of this, one of the only positives in people's minds coming out of this, is we'll probably get that remaining 1,400, if not 2,000, deposit, sent to us via deposit or mail down the line, or debit, either by check or debit card very soon. So, but yeah, the 300 is actually 600 depending on the situation you live in, which also means depending, like I said, on your living situation, parental, marital, whatever, the 600 is actually 12. But anyway, though, that's really about it. So hopefully this helped kind of clear it up a little bit, didn't confuse it as much. And that's going to do it for this fifth topic. And now on to our sixth and final topic.